You are listening to Torah Treasures, a messianic perspective on the weekly Torah portion, featuring Rabbi Jason Sobel.
This week's Torah portion is Parasha Vayyigash. In it we read, "Then Joseph fell on his brother Benjamin's necks, and he wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck." Genesis 45:14. According to Rashi, what did Joseph and Benjamin weep over? How does the use of the plural for neck midrashically imply this? Why is a temple compared to the neck? How does a temple tie in with the theme of this week's Torah portion? Midrashically, Rashi, the medieval Jewish commentator, explains that the plural use of the word neck implies that Joseph wept over the destruction of the first and second temple. These temples were located, according to Jewish tradition, in Benjamin's territory. Rashi's exposition is based upon the Midrash Rabbah in Genesis 93:12, which states, "And Joseph fell on his brother Benjamin's necks," in the plural, Genesis 45:14. Did Benjamin have two necks? In fact, said Rabbi Eliezer, he foresaw through the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, that two temples would be built in Benjamin's territory, and both would be destroyed. And Benjamin wept upon Joseph's neck. He foresaw that the tabernacle of Shiloh would be built in Joseph's territory and would be destroyed. The Midrash on Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs, offers a fourfold metaphorical correlation between the temple and the neck when it states, "Thy neck is like the Tower of David," Song of Songs 4:4. This refers to the temple. Why is it compared to a neck? Point 1. Because as long as the temple was standing, Israel's neck was stretched out among the nations of the world. For Israel was able to hold her head high, which is a sign of freedom and pride. But when the temple was destroyed, then Israel's neck was bowed, hanging her head in shame due to the degradation and persecution. And so it is written, "And I will break the pride of your power," Leviticus 22:19, namely the temple. Point 2. Just as a man's neck is in the highest part of him, so the temple was in the highest part of the world. Point 3. And just as most ornaments are hung around the neck, so the priests were attached to the temple and the Levites were attached to the temple. For the priests and the Levites, due to their important spiritual roles, were seen as the jewels of Israel. Point 4. And just as if the neck is removed, a man cannot live, for the neck is the lifeline of man, and when it is broken, he is incapacitated or dies. In the same way, the temple was the spiritual nerve center and lifeline of Israel. This midrashic interpretation is clearly tied to the key message of Parashat Vayyigash. One of the primary reasons that God commanded Israel to erect a central place of worship was in order to create unity among the tribes of Israel. This was done in part through the commandment that all Jewish men should appear before the Lord at the temple in Jerusalem to celebrate the Shalosh Regalim, the three pilgrimage holidays, Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. Thus, the central theme of Parashat Vayyigash, the unity of all Israel, was meant to be cultivated by worshiping and fellowshipping together in the temple. Further, it was Israel's senseless envy and hatred that not only caused a rift between Joseph and his family, but also played a central role in the destruction of the Second Temple. May our common faith and commitment to serve Messiah unify us and help to prepare the way for his return.